Alright, what's going on, guys? This is Chris,
Martin.
Eric.
and we're here to just talk about whatever you want. So I think we're going to do Xmen 97 today because we finally all saw that and give our impressions on it. And I'll let you guys start. What did you guys think of the Xmen 97 series?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I actually liked it more than I did the original one. But the original one, I had issues with it because
The voice acting.
the voice acting sucked. And then some of the animation was real fucking not very good.
Well, I mean, for the time though, I think the animation was pretty good. I mean, there wasn't much to compare it with. Hell, we had Voltron.
There wasn't, and so everybody thought it was good.
Oh,
and then you look at some animes, you're like, man, that blows this crap
Well, I
out of
think
the
the
water.
best animated series at the time was Batman the Animated Series. As
Oh,
far
yeah.
as comic
Yeah, you
book
couldn't
kind of
touch that.
transaction.
But you still can't touch it.
That was an
It's-
aberration, though. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a diamond in the rough that just kind of came out of nowhere.
But that aside,
And they couldn't really screw up the stories. All they were doing was copying whatever Chris Claremont did.
yeah. But show-wise, like I said, I loved it. I thought it was a great show. I thought everything on there was, it kept me engaged. I mean, I wanted to see what happened next. And we'll probably go into spoilers on this. So if you're listening to this, you want to hear, just to let you know, you've been warned.
We'll go overall first, and then we'll give you guys a little warning when we actually start getting a little bit deeper, and then start telling you more and more about the endings of certain episodes and stuff. So we'll just go over general overview at first. So I thought it was pretty good, especially given all the hype that it had around it. I mean, there was a lot of oh, this is going to be a DEI type of project, and so it turned me off at first. But I'm not one to shy away from conflict, so I was like, I don't care. I loved the '97 one, so I was like, I don't care what's surrounding it. I'm still gonna give it a try, and I'm glad I did. It was a really good series.
I mean, you already know how I feel about the whole thing about X-Men's woke. Bitch,
how do you feel? So everybody knows.
bitch, it's been woke since the 70s. Get the fuck out of here.
So you're the only one I know who's actually read the comics, because I don't think Martin and I have actually seen it. All I've known is the animated series
Yeah,
and the movies that have come out. How did it Cliff Notes touch on a lot of comic book stories that you remember at least?
Yeah, this one, I think, the Massacre Genosha, God, I think that was the Fatal Attractions.
Yeah, so this one might be a little spoiler-ish. Because, yeah, on the '97, they pretty much took 3 real big storylines and kind of... They did
an amalgamate. And they did the same thing here in 90.
They did the Batman
97,
Superman thing where they jammed a bunch of ideas into one series, but at least they had a series to do it and not one movie.
Yeah.
And they did it well. I mean, they took certain aspects where I was like, the whole time when they were fighting... I was afraid that Nightcrawler was going to accidentally blip into the arm of what's his name? The main bad guy.
Magneto?
No, the bad guy, not the reformed
sorry.
bad guy.
What are you talking about? You mean the leader of the X-Men, Magneto?
No,
Yeah. My bad. Sorry, spoilers, right?
The new Sentinels, the Super Sentinels.
Bastion?
Bastion, there you go, thank you.
Dude, that was the fight scenes with Nightcrawler. That whole fight scene was badass. The one in the mansion with him and Wolverine, and that's the only time you see Wolverine do anything.
Yeah, he was very
they
sit down character in this whole series.
But at the same time, I kind of like that, because so many of the times, in the X-Men movies and the X-Men, it's always just been oh yeah, Wolverine. Wolverine's the ultimate hero here. Wolverine.
Because he's the best there is at what he does.
Well, and then I kind of agree with Eric on as far as the '90s one. It seemed like the '90s catered a lot to Wolverine, but it was a very hyped character that did very little in the actual '90s cartoon because of censorship. You couldn't see him do what he's really the best at doing. Because, I mean, it's a kid show. You can't have Wolverine, decapitating and slicing.
At the time, it was a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
It wasn't,
And ironically, in this show, you can.
Well, I mean...
They finally got to it, though, at some point.
But
we'll go over that later.
He only stabbed one person. So, I guess...
No, but not even that. The thing with Gambit and even Magneto getting the shit kicked out of him.
Well, then that also goes into because there's that epic scene
Genosha.
with Wolverine and Nightcrawler, which is like totally carrying the X-Men for that whole episode.
Yeah, and
then you have to kind of take a step back and think, wait, so are these robots or are they really just like massacring people?
Well, we'll get into that later. Let me say this, though. Nightcrawler was always one of my favorite X-Men. It was Nightcrawler and Colossus. Those were my two favorite. And to see Nightcrawler actually kicking some ass, doing some stuff, I was all about it.
yeah, I was always kind of sad about that in the 97 one, that they didn't include Nightcrawler in
that one episode.
Yeah,
it was like
when he found out
the
him
monks,
and Rogue were,
and then it turns out the monks were all kind of twisted. But so I liked it because it was almost like a callback to was it X-Men 2 or 3, the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Where
2.
It's the second one, right?
Yeah, it's
where
the second one.
Goes into the White House.
Yeah.
And now it wasn't quite as cool as that scene because I don't know, his fighting in that one just seemed fluid, and it was just like pop 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 pop, and it was like now I'm here, and he just like destroyed everybody. For me, that one's still like a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But this one was really, really good. I think they took a lot of inspiration from that, and I did kind of like how they kind of threw his teleporting into like a team dynamic where it was like part of their like, okay, we train as a team. They know what I'm gonna do. Pop, bamf, and then I love that sound effect that they put. Bamf. It was like the perfect like description of Nightcrawler like disappearing and reappearing, and
like what was it? Wolverine threw one of the Sentinels into Nightcrawler, and all three of them like teleport at the same time, and you see it from Wolverine's
see him
perspective.
Go into the pocket dimension, and then
that was badass.
That was cool. I was half expecting him to just
yeah.
Because usually I think that's
when you first do it.
Yeah, the first time you do it, and I'm surprised they didn't show the person that they had with them, like doubled over, just yakking while Wolverine's like, wuss.
Just stabbing.
Or that whole what's that stupid movie called? The Your First Time, the one with James DeFranco where he's being hung. He's like, your first time, man.
First time.
That would have been like prime moment for that line.
I have to say, character-wise, though, someone who's always been kind of portrayed as a little bitch, just simping over Jean Grey. I think they actually did Scott Summers' Cyclops some justice in this. For me, they actually made him likable, and they actually made him a bit of a badass.
They did, but that's not comic accurate.
Yeah,
I've heard different things. I've heard people.
You've heard people that started reading in like 2010. Think that he's amazing and Scott was right or Cyclops was right, blah, blah, blah.
Done a lot of shady things.
Yeah. Well, that was like from 2010 on. Yeah. Like before that, he was like mayonnaise.
Well, I mean, let's face it. The 90s version of X-Men actually like made Scott cool for the first time in like I don't know how long. Because I mean, the minute they took that cowl off and they gave him the hair flipping up with the like skaters kind of haircut in the 90s.
Yeah.
They changed his uniform because that's a cool uniform.
That was all Jim Lee.
I liked that uniform. That made him look like relatable, made it look cool. It was better than because it always seemed like he was in the original.
The skull cap?
Yeah, the skull cap and the plain blue and yellow.
So did you guys like the throwback? Because towards the end of the series, they go to the throwback to the original X-Men, or at least from the original cartoon I remember first seeing when they take on Magneto on the asteroid in the original cartoon. I saw a throwback to like Storm wearing her old gear, Cyclops wearing his old gear, same thing with Wolverine. I almost thought they were going to bring Kitty Pryde in out of nowhere.
That's his second uniform.
Well, even they did the throwback to the movie with Wolverine, where it's like, what were you expecting?
Black leather.
I was like, oh, it took me a second. I was like, oh, okay, because I had to explain it to my daughter what that was in reference to.
I'm actually glad you explained it because I was like, I didn't get that, so I forgot the movie.
Yeah, because on the movie they're on the Black Falcon, and he was like black leather, and he was like, "What were you expecting? Yellow spandex?"
Whoa.
Yeah.
So it was like the same, but reversed. It was kind of like okay. But yeah, it took me a second.
Remember, the Matrix was huge, so black leather was huge.
So it wasn't the S&M movement.
It could have been. What else are those nails good for?
Scratching.
All right. So character-wise, were you guys happy with all the characters? Me personally, the one I thought was funniest was Morph. He was a great asshole on this. He played a pretty good asshole, fucked with Gambit or whatever, with the whole training room thing.
They seemed really, really kind of not finding their character in the first episodes, but like later on, it seems like he went back to form. Because like when they first introduced Morph in the '90s version, he was always that smart ass. Like he would turn into Senator
And he was
Kelly.
originally created for
For
the
the show.
animated series.
Yeah,
he
yeah, he
wasn't
was-
actually a character
He
until
was
then.
he was supposed to be based off a Mimic, but like he's not Mimic, and you got these people online saying, "Oh, he was Mimic," and blah blah. Like, shut up! No, Mimic's its own
Well,
character.
but it's like Harley Quinn. I mean, it's
Morph
like-
is his own character. He was created for the show to sell toys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The fuck
well,
outta here.
and comic relief. I mean,
Yeah.
that's exactly what Harley Quinn was before they sexualized her. She was basically comic relief. 'Cause
Hey.
Joker would have been
She was always
just a little too dark if you didn't have
She was
him in
always
the
hot.
Batman's Beyond.
she was always hot.
Oh no,
All right.
I agree. Personality goes a long way, but skin tight leotards also.
I like
kinda, you know.
I like crazy. All right.
Well, we know
Well,
that.
there's
Your track record
there's
shows
that
that.
I know.
crazy flow chart that they have. So I mean, yeah, yours is way
Hot to
over.
crazy ratio.
The hot crazy
yeah.
ratio is like
Yeah.
way off the
way
He
trail.
off
likes
the
him
track.
hot, but man, that comes with a lot of crazy.
Yeah, there's got to be baggage, or I'm not happy. I guess. I don't know. Fuck, steal my car. Like you know.
It just means they're ready to go. All that baggage means they're always ready to go, always on the move. But yeah, overall, characters. I really like the character development. The episodes were good.
The story.
Story
The
was
story.
really, really great.
It really moved from issue to issue, really.
Yeah.
And what I mean issue, but like plot line to plot line,
Yeah.
really well. Like
Although,
it flowed
well,
really well. For
So, at the beginning, at least, I was a little concerned because it seemed like at first I thought they were just kind of. It was all drama. It wasn't too much story. It was just
Mostly
love
relationships.
triangle.
I get what
it
you're
was
saying. That.
It was Wolverine and Jean, and then like we haven't seen that before, but still, it
even that was kind of in the
and then there
background
was
though.
like Storm with what happens to her, and then the sisters have their little thing going, and then they forced Forge with his thing, and I was just like, are we doing a daytime soap opera here? But
Watching
luckily-
the CW.
yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, I was expecting
Well,
the frog to come out and just be like, ha ha.
It is for kids.
Well, I was going to say on this, I was thinking the same way, but I have seen some people who've seen the comics or whatever, and they said, yeah, the X-Men is very relationship heavy show as well, or the comics.
The comic book
are
is
very
yeah.
relationship heavy. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, all right. But for me, I was expecting a little more action. But yes, they
Hell,
definitely
no.
put drama. But
Now in the newer comics, I mean, like Cyclops and Jean are in a
three,
thruple with Wolverine, and every now and then Wolverine just goes and fucks I forget who.
Can I
think
just watch?
both of them.
Domino and maybe both of them. I'm not even sure anymore.
But then I started thinking, I was like, well, I mean, was the '90s one like that? I mean,
What do you mean? Yeah, it
Well,
was.
heavy
between
drama.
Scott
I mean,
Wolverine
it was-
and Jean,
it was-
mostly,
It seems like it
that was
started
their
off
relationship.
as like episodic, and then they kind of were the first
I mean,
shows that
honest-
was like, hey, we're not just doing episodic now. We're actually gonna have like
Have you
a
have
main
you ever
theme.
gone?
And then I was like, you know what? Maybe it's just nostalgia, and I just forgot about all that stuff
It's-
because that's not what I was interested
It's
in at the time.
nostalgia because have you ever actually gone back to watch it?
I remember towards the end there, it was almost like, oh my god, here we go again.
Yeah, it's very like it's hard to rewatch for me. I'm just like wow, but it got hard
I
for me
could
to.
still
It got
watch
it got
them.
hard. For,
It's not like He-Man where it's like,
It got
like,
hard.
as a kid I was like, hell yeah, and then I tried showing that to my kids,
and then
and
you said you're
I
like,
had to stop.
this
like,
is so
5-10 minutes into the first episode. I was like, I am sorry,
This
kids.
is so bad.
We're gonna find something else because this is just unwatchable.
Great animation though.
Let me show you this this Hey Yeah video real quick.
Yeah.
As I held aloft my
But,
magical sword.
Yeah,
and said,
X-Men, I would definitely recommend it to anyone to see.
Oh,
It's especially if you saw the '90s, the original '90s animated series. I think this one holds your attention throughout, and it actually wants to see what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next, and I think it moves it on very well.
and the animation is just phenomenal.
It's top notch animation.
Yeah.
Almost
Very
to its detriment at times because
Yeah.
there's little things like sometimes when the professor's talking you're just kind of like it's kind of an odd look he's giving, that looks a little suspect there. Why is Magnus really just hanging on to his words? And one of the things I kind of found interesting is like they do like micro expressions where it's like someone will say a line and then they'll actually like draw a face twitch or an
Yeah.
eyebrow raise. Although I don't know if you guys experienced it, but for some reason, like in the first episode, the lips weren't matched up with like the speak. Like when they were doing the voiceover,
Yeah.
It was almost like a generic, like playing an old video game.
Who knows? But
It got better.
I didn't see it,
I didn't catch it, but
but
I wasn't looking for
I think
it
it
either.
might have had to do something with people's internet connection too.
It could be.
It could have been.
Like I don't know, is yours hard into the?
Yeah, it's not Wi-Fi. It's like directly in.
Yeah, mine is too. So
but
I didn't notice it.
But it is Disney, and for some reason, like my stuff on Disney always just like acts weird. It gets funky. But like and then that was the only time I saw it was on episode 1. Maybe I should rewatch episode 1. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the only time I saw it, and I was like, that just looks off. But then the rest of the time, never happened again. So I was like, was that intentional? Was that them kind of making fun of like the 90s, where it's kind of like the mouth would move and they would kind of force some words a little bit longer so that way it would fit the animation style. So I was like, I don't know, because they have so many callbacks and so many like little jabs and little tips on everything that's one thing I'll give the show. It's a very smart show. It's very self-aware, and they do a lot of things where they're like, okay, you remember this from the old series? We're gonna give you a little flash of that here. Like they'll revisit a lot of like old scenes, or they'll do quick like cameos from characters. They're like, oh, I remember them. Huh? What's he doing there?
All right.
Yeah, I think they had Rusty and Skids at one point, and then they had like I think in one of the future like flashbacks they had or flash forwards, they had like the 2 random mutants in the camp that they had like back in the early 90s one, which was like
like, why are they here? Or did you guys notice that with the intros? Like every intro was different. They would add a little something different in there.
Like I think I was saying earlier, it was with the intros. They would actually have like if Nightcrawler's going to be in this episode, Nightcrawler was in the intro, and they showed like some old stuff with Nightcrawler in that. Or if it was going to be more focused on like Xavier and Magneto, they would have them on the intro. Even with Forge, when Forge was in the episode, Forge was in the intro, and I was like, wait a minute, they have Forge in the intro. I was like, wait a minute. And so that from then I knew it was like, okay, so whoever the guest star is going to be in here, they put them in there. And honestly, that was actually the one cool thing about having Morph, is that if you wanted to see characters that they don't have as regulars on there anymore, Morph would go, oh, hey, I'm going to be Colossus here for a little bit. I'm going to smash someone, or Psylocke. And,
I thought that was cool. Like, you just get, like, a random...
It's like, hey, I want to see that ability. Bam, there they are. Well, like, random cameo.
But also what they would do is if it was a cameo of someone who was also on the 90s...
He also random cameoed as, like, the Hulk or an Avenger, didn't he?
Well, he did Mr. Fantastic. He did Sauron to go 10 feet.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Did you needed to morph into a winged animal to, like...
Why not, you know?
Hey.
It's kind of a long drop, so, you know, I just kind of fly down. First one that popped to mind.
But they would also take, like, so if it was a guest cameo, like, say, Cable's in there, they would also take, like, a famous clip from the 90s version, and then they would reanimate it to what they were doing with this animation style. So, like, you would have, like, Cable fighting Apocalypse. They threw that in there, and they would, like, reanimate it so that way it's, like, here's our version of that scene that you remember way back in the 90s.
Yeah, because we're Disney and we do animation better than whatever the hell they were doing over there.
But let's go ahead and we can get into spoilers.
Yeah,
because we recommend it. We recommend it. If you want to go see it, I'd say definitely check this show out, especially if you saw the 90s cartoon. For me, I hadn't watched the 90s in forever, but it kind of picked up where it left off for the most part. I mean, technically, I think it's like 3 months later from where the last episode ended, but it gets you into the story, and even if you didn't watch it before, I think they even recapped.
Well, I guess they're on
Disney. Yeah, they're all on Disney.
Yeah,
but I never.
They definitely recapped.
All available on Disney Plus. Disney, give us a call.
I'm not gonna do it.
No, it's a time-consuming thing. I mean, especially since you didn't like it to begin with. So.
Yeah, like after something happened from 13 to 14 where I was like, dude, this sucks. If I hear Storm go, "Whoa, gather around me, wind and..."
Was it because of how she talked? Everything was stoic?
Yes, and it's
Do not forget to buy the toilet paper.
Yeah, I'm like, God, would you stop that? So, I think it's the same voice actress, because she sounds the same.
No, yeah,
but it's better but much better voice direction.
All the voice actors, other than Jubilee, because Jubilee Asian, and they didn't originally have an Asian person playing that character, so they tried to draw her more Asian in this, and then added her.
Funny because Jubilee actually sounded more like Jubilee than anybody else. Everybody else, you could tell they kind of aged and didn't quite sound the same.
Rogue sounded like an old granny, like,
Gather round,
long-tailed cat with a rocking
I
I don't know. I got the saying wrong.
No,
but that's pretty much how.
Yeah, you're about
No,
as
that
nervous as a long.
the rogue voice, man, is still like hot. Like Rogue.
It sounded, for me, it sounded like it took a while, but then it felt like she got back into form for voicing it.
No, that's just her voice. Like, that's how that voice actor sounds.
Alright, so-
I get, but I'm saying from the '90s cartoon to now, there was a little bit more youth, but in this one, she sounds closer to her grandmother than just the southern.
Yeah, the
hotness that
90s
you're
one
looking
sounded
for.
like, Southern Belle Sass, whereas this one sounded like old grandma's gonna give you a story.
Yeah, why don't you get a piece of candy out the candy dish? You like hard candy, don't you?
Here's a note. Be sure to tell the pharmacist to give Grandma a pack of smokes. Grandma, you can't do that anymore. No, it's okay.
All right, but spoilers now, so now we can start going into the sections we really liked, and then we really enjoyed.
Only real quick because we were on Rogue, and yes, spoiler-ish. Did you guys notice on the last episode what they did with Rogue? How they addressed the reduction of posterior? There's a shot where right before she punches Bastion into the air, or no, she punches him in the air, and then she's gonna come back and like hit him again, and she like flies backwards, and the camera is right on her ass, and then she does like a little shift and kind of like, who doesn't have ass? And then like goes and like punches, and I was like, what? Oh, come on, really?
Well, I will admit that because I do remember people saying that they were afraid they took the sexiness out of the characters and all this, but I'm
Oh
like,
my god, they're animated characters.
Like I told
There's
you,
something weird about people
This
and
show
the shit
is
they
so
bitch about.
self-aware. It's so
well,
self-aware.
no, but even with that being said, they definitely did not skimp on the sexiness for the character's outfit between Jean, whoever the alter. Well, we'll
The
get
Goblin
into that
Queen?
later, but yeah.
I don't think it
Madeline
deterred
Pryor.
at all from the
Yeah.
series. Like barely footnote. I don't know what the big hype was. I'm like, okay. I mean, yeah, maybe they don't want to hypersexualize every aspect of the show.
But like,
you
I
don't
mean,
really have to though.
how hard up do you have to be that that's your fucking biggest gripe? Like, Jesus Christ. There's like deviant art out there. Just
Like you just
go knock one out to
Look,
that
look,
then.
I get it. Some people, they just like seeing beautiful characters, and they're afraid somebody to changes
They're
that from
still
what they like.
they're still beautiful.
Well,
I get it,
Well,
but
but-
like I'm saying, it does not deter from the story. And if you think that they toned down the sexiness or whatever in this, they did not, because they definitely drew the characters in some revealing outfits, especially Storm's old original outfit. If you remember that, definitely not
Which was pretty
toned
kick-ass.
down sexiness.
Well, it's like I think people view it like putting a bra on the Venus. It's like, oh come on, you're censoring, and I don't know if it's really like, oh, you took the sexiness out. I think it's more of a, hey, you said this was going to be a direct correlation from '97 to now, and you're changing stuff. And I think it was more of just people were pissed that things were changing. And I mean, come on,
Get off my lawn.
if you're watching X-Men, one thing that you should be pretty okay with is change. Because I know this was one of those shows back in the 90s that like really helped me develop as like more of an inclusive, more of a, hey, dude, I mean, like you said, woke. It was woke since the beginning. Of course, it wasn't called woke there. It was just called, being self-aware, being culturally aware, being, just... Because the message has always been the same. These people are different. They do great things. You shouldn't judge them for how they look. You should judge them for what they do. And that's the same message, and it grows. It's a universal thing.
Which has always confused me because, like, why do they look at the other superheroes in the universe one way, but they look at the people born with powers the other? They're all still freaks at the end of the day.
No. That guy in the gag, he's all right. That's Bob.
Bob's fine.
Yeah, Bob's all right. You wouldn't know it, but he runs a pretty successful business.
All right. So the first episode moment that I guess it was episode 3, I think it was, where it got me going. It was the introduction of, I guess, Madeline Pryor, I think was her name, the clone
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Jean Grey. Spoilers. to show that Scott actually
You were
had
warned. If you're still here and you haven't seen it, hey, that's on you.
So, but seeing Scott, have the child with her, and seeing the conflict with Scott, because he definitely still loved her because he had a child with her. But then when Jean comes out of the cold out of nowhere and be like, well, where the fuck did you come from? And then everybody's like, well, she's the real Jean Grey. You're not.
That was.
But she wasn't supposed to be Jean Grey. She was supposed to be Madeline Pryor.
That was one of those.
But she was a clone. Exactly. Well, she was a clone made by Mr. Sinister, so he could try to get their DNA
Well, see,
to create a super virus or something,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
See, that's where it deviates from the comics, because in the comics, she's always Madeline Pryor.
Okay.
She just happens to look like Jean.
So, and even in the comics, Scott has always had his hang-ups with
Redheads?
being well, not only that, but being faithful, because he has a mental affair with
the White Queen.
You mean
White Queen?
Yeah. Emma Frost. There
Emma
you
Frost.
Dude,
And he still does.
this is one of those moments.
That's the other part of the whole thing in the newer comics.
I think they could have done a little bit more time on that one. It seemed that concept was kind of thrown out, and then it was rushed, and then Jean just kind of seemed like a bitch. Just a very catty. Like the way that it was dealt with, it was like, hey, I might have just kissed Wolverine, but how dare you? That's our thing. It's like, it seems like, I don't know, it makes her look kind of psychotic. It's like,
so that
I could see it if it was over time and this, deal with this, and you got all these emotions.
It made her look like every jealous woman I've ever met in my life.
Hey, I'm not throwing out stereotypes here.
I'm just
saying
throw it out
that
there.
the perception was not good, at least from my viewpoint. I was like,
I did think it was funny that, because it was Jean who actually kissed Wolverine.
Yeah,
right?
she
when
kissed
she was
him.
like confused, and Wolverine did the stand-up thing. He was like, "Yeah, no, I love you and all, but get the fuck away from me.
We can't.
You're
do
married
this.
over there, so you go do that."
Not only married, but he's like literally probably looking at us through that window over there.
Well, but he was already mentally seeing Madeline though.
But
so,
he was distracted with his
with his
the
other
baby's mama.
with his baby, with the fairies having with his baby's mama.
With, doing his Demolition Man sex.
Yeah.
Which I guess, like, when did she? They don't know when she disappeared. So
and they don't tell you.
They don't tell you.
Although,
so who did
who
did he actually marry?
Episode, they do kind of imply that it was sometime after the Phoenix, because Mephisto was just like, she was never the Phoenix. So clearly the switch happened sometime after Jean had been Phoenix.
Yeah.
So sometime after that. So I guess they wanted to make sure that they didn't accidentally retcon all of the 90s series and like, well, it was never Jean Grey. So I mean, at least they kind of like had the foresight to be like, well, we'll at least
so technically
somewhat of a time.
Cyclops and Jean never got married.
Like I don't know if you guys seen like the Secret
he married the clone.
Secret Invasion or whatever with the Marvel one, but
unfortunately, yeah.
When the whole thing with War Machine, because the error they ran into is that as they retcon is like I can't remember who the director was, but whoever created the Secret Invasion, because they did say that War Machine had always been a Skrull, right? That's what they're called?
Skrull, the Super Skrull.
Even so, they're like basically when Tony was dying and all that, and he was talking, have those words, at touching moment, it was with a Skrull. It wasn't technically with War Machine.
Rhodey.
So, yeah, with Rhodey. So it was kind of like, it's kind of messed up. So at least this one, they were like, no.
Well, see, that's what I'm afraid of, because they're going straight from what they just did to now they're dividing it up into probably 3 timelines. You got the past, you got the present, and you got the future. And if Heroes has taught us anything...
Actually, we don't know where Wolverine
is. Yeah, I
Wolverine,
didn't see him.
Storm, and Morph.
We saw Jean and Cyclops were together.
In the future.
And then we saw...
raising,
it seemed like just about everybody else was with...
so they're going to raise Nathan in the Ascani clan, which is what they do in the comics. You got the other guys in the past, and fucking...
I knew that was... So Apocalypse...
There's
like
Apocalypse.
in the past before he...
Apocalypse
becomes
is
Apocalypse, I guess.
no.
Or
That's
Well, but see, the thing
Apocalypse
is
like
he's been forever. He's
Yeah.
really
yeah,
old.
he's eternal.
No, I do remember that because as soon as I saw that they were in like some sort of
Egyptian.
Oh, the
Yeah.
minute he swung the spear and I saw the
Well,
mouth covered,
even,
I was
even,
like,
even before
I know
that,
who
once
that
I saw
is.
there in the past, I was like, Apocalypse.
Yeah,
Apocalypse
Egypt.
has got to be here. They're gonna see, oh, look at that Apocalypse.
I said
Okay.
the same thing to Dylan. Dylan's like, what? And then he took the mask down. She's like, oh shit. And I was like, yep, told you. You can't go too far without throwing it into Apocalypse.
So
And
yeah,
then-
so see, like I said, the past I knew they were going to run into Apocalypse. The future, I didn't know what was going on with that timeline. But you said Jean and Scott actually wind up raising their son Cable or Nathan.
Nathan,
as he's
yeah.
called.
They actually wound up raising him in the future, and then getting sent back.
Interesting.
But like I was saying, like one thing that I loved that show Heroes. Heroes was awesome. But then they started delving with time travel. And then which lasted all of what, like 2 seasons? So season 1 awesome. And then season 2 I was like, oh, you guys are messing this up.
And then season
You're
3.
trying to retcon with a time travel, but then by doing that you're creating all sorts of other problems. Oh, you know what? That's okay. We'll just solve that with time travel also. And it's like, you can't do that. You're making yourself a more complicated math problem that you're just not going to be able to solve. And you can't solve it with another more complicated math problem. And I'm just afraid that this show, especially since they're changing directors midway through, did he...
So, okay, so if you guys don't know...
I don't understand. The guy was fired? Or?
Bo DeMeo was fired. He's the guy who basically was the
Before.
creator. And if you don't know the history of
before
Bo
it
DeMeo,
launched.
Bo DeMeo was on The Witcher. And he said, I don't know if you guys have seen what's going on with that show, but they're like, they didn't respect the source material. They were making fun of the books. They were doing all that. And so he was fired from the show. They said he was... Bo DeMeo was also fired from that show, I believe. They said he was no good at that. And of course,
along with Henry Cavill?
Well, prior to Henry Cavill, but he was the one speaking out saying, hey, I understand what Henry Cavill's issue is because they aren't respecting the source material, they don't like it, they don't want anything to do with it, and because of that, that's why The Witcher has gone to shit. Where it started off with Geralt, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if you've seen the progression of seasons, but I think the last season he barely had any screen time. He had about half as much screen time who was supposed to be your lead in the series.
Yeah, I jumped ship. But yeah, I did not know that.
I
So,
thought it was a good season.
So, I mean, because,
Well, so- but-
why would
That-
you want to
that-
stick with
his-
source material that's proven to make you money
But
and
his
good
big
content?
thing-
That
he
and I'm
took
in love with
over-
Yennefer, so...
When he got the job for the Xmen 97, one of his things was respect. If you want to write on the show, you have to be a fan of those comics, and if not, you got to read and find out what happened in the comics. I think that's part of what the successes of the show.
Whoa! So that's why Disney got rid of them. Because I mean, you've seen all those those clips where they're like, "No, I didn't read anything." Disney actually, encourages us not to, so we can have a quote unquote fresh take
And look, and
on the
then
material.
you get all this stuff with people arguing DEI, things like that, which I get it. There are some things, and if you're hiring the wrong person for the wrong job, yes, that's an issue. But Bo DeMeo was a gay black man, and he was actually good at his job. So I have no problem because I think he was the right man for the job. But his only thing, he has an OnlyFans account where I guess he was doing some stuff. So I don't know if Disney saw that and they were like, we can't have you here with our family.
That's the guy.
That's what I'm telling you. No, Disney.
That's the guy.
Disney was like, no, this guy, he's trying to be faithful so that way he knows the audience because, let's face it, who's watching 97? It's people our age, and not to age us, but we're 40s-ish.
Yeah, mid-40s or so.
Yeah, so, I mean, let's face it,
older.
that's your audience. And then not only that, but probably the kids you've raised watched it also. So you're bringing that audience with you. So why would you deviate from that? Because you know what your cash cow is. It's the people in their 40s, almost 50s for some of us.
They fired him 2 weeks before the show released. Like 2 weeks before. Like he was out there, he was promoting the show, he was doing everything. Then all of a sudden he gets fired, scrubs his Twitter account and all that stuff. He can't find anything. Or maybe it was his Instagram, I can't remember. But they scrubbed all his social media
But
accounts.
when something like that happens, I mean, he made someone in that writer room mad, and they send out the OnlyFans
something
thing.
massive for Disney to get rid of a gay black man. Let's be honest. It had to have been something.
No, it's the OnlyFans thing.
Unless they found someone else that's like has another thing like. Well, you got gay minority, so it'd have to be like a Jewish gay minority or something, or maybe Palestinian. I don't know. I'm not too up to snuff with. Well, it's not that. I
But
just don't care about
but
what happens outside of.
from what I read though, he already fleshed out the first 2 seasons. So he already did season 1, and he already had season 2 already.
Well, that's your mistake.
Well, because a lot of times in animated series they sign you up for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So he already had. I think from what I heard, he had season 1,
Which is
season
why
2
Velma
done,
had a season
and
2.
he was
That's
even
why.
looking at starting to work on season 3. But then whatever
I
happened
didn't
with
get
Disney.
that. I didn't get that one because like Velma was really bad. Like even objectively,
Yeah, but
it was bad.
But
Well,
they had
Velma,
2
like,
seasons. That's why they had a second season because it was contractually obligated.
They were required to. They already had a second season in place. They were already writing it.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
So they're like, well, we already paid for it.
I was
Might
gonna
as well
say that
put it
that
out.
show was really
I
bad.
already paid for it. I might as well, ride this train of
I gave it a shot.
It was
and I
just-
self-loathing
Well,
watching or hate watching
It's
or
because
whatever
it's
you want
like
to call it.
always like Mindy Kaling playing Mindy Kaling, and it's like, can't you deviate or see?
No, most comedians can only play
but
themselves.
From what I heard,
Like, look at Bill Burr.
from what I heard,
I love
on
the
that,
guy,
she
but
pitched them a different show.
his character's his character.
It's always Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Mindy Kaling pitched them a different show because everybody's like, why didn't you make an original? She did, but all these executives are so scared of putting anything that's a new IP. They're like, no, do something with an old classic.
And in the words of Bob Iger, we got to do some IP mining.
Yeah, IP mine. But and that's why they created the show and made it the way they did. They just
Brilliant.
took it with a
I
no
love it.
name because that's all these
Let's do
that's
it
all
with
these
Snoopy.
executives want because they're afraid of new ideas because they're afraid of failure because so many of these companies are failing now these days.
Well, I mean, and I get it because movies have gotten ridiculous. I remember when we were growing up, it was just like Rambo. Oh my God, did you hear how much they spent on this movie? They spent like $10 million to make this movie.
Yeah.
And now it's
Man, how are they going to recoup that cost?
and now there's like something like
Nowadays it's like millions with an M. Throw a B in front of that sucker.
Doctor Strange, they just came out with that one because they shoot a lot of this stuff in the UK to get tax breaks. Originally, that cost $425 million.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that it's like.
I mean, it doubled the money.
These overly inflated budgets.
Well, yeah, but with marketing, I mean, doubling isn't enough.
No, it's not enough. But I mean, it still made money in the long.
Maybe.
It still made it made almost $1 billion.
Right, but with these movie theaters, they get about half of what the ticket sales are, including international, all that stuff. International, it's a little bit less, but all in all, it balances to about 50%. Plus, you spend about $150 million.
I don't know about that because like Kevin Smith said, he doesn't get half, and he owns a movie theater.
Like I think it's 45%. Across the board, on the average, movie theaters take about.
He was saying that like the way that he makes money in that movie theater is from the food sales.
Food sales, selling those special cups, things like
Yeah,
that. Well, which is what theaters have to do, but pretty much the national average on movie theaters is about the theaters get about 45%, the studios get about 55%.
Unless you're Disney.
Yeah, and then internationally, it's a little bit less. You get a little bit less, but if you take all the sales, average them together, it's about 50% overall. Other than China, China is really bad. In China keeps 75%. You keep about the other theaters keep about 25%. So when you do that, from that 425 million, they still got a tax break, and
yeah, it all evened out.
So it comes to about 350 million in what they spent on that, plus 150 in marketing, 150 million, 400, so $500 million.
Yeah, so you still got
with about half the sales if they got off of that, then you're looking at maybe breaking even, maybe made a slight bit of profit.
No, they made that movie made $195 million. Like
right.
Well, now Disney has one where I think
So
with
they
movie
still-
theaters,
Right. Either way.
Yeah.
I'll take a
either way.
$395 million payday any day of the week.
But I was gonna say either way, these budgets are just like if you look at Godzilla -1. I think it had $12 million budget.
Oh yeah, that's so crazy.
$12 million budget. I saw that was a great movie. You see that, and then all these just overly inflated budgets are just killing the movies.
Well, but
And even
same other end of the sword there is also that because they cost so much, even if you make one, when it is profitable is in the billions. So you could have had, a bunch of successful movies, but if they're only slightly successful and their budget's only like 100K, you're not making much. All you need is one successful movie, and all of a sudden you're in the black because it costs a lot of money, and now you've made billions instead of just like a couple of hundred.
Which for the last phase was what?
Now you're losing fans.
No Way Home.
Yeah. Now you're losing fans on your way, but I mean, I get it from a business standpoint, but it's just you're losing your fan base by doing that because it's just
by doing what though? Like
by putting all your eggs in one basket. We're gonna make this movie and it's gonna cost $1 trillion. Why? Because if it's profitable, we're gonna make even if it's slightly profitable.
Oh, you mean like all movies in general?
Yeah, in general. I mean, that's why they can't gamble on anything that's not an established IP.
Yeah,
that's why they don't.
The days of like those crazy
like you're not gonna have
Army of Darkness where you're like, dude, that or Evil Dead.
Yeah.
There was no reason for that movie to be successful.
Like you're not gonna have
cheesy as hell, cheap as hell. You can tell, but you know what? I enjoyed it, and that thing.
Charisma, baby.
Well, you're not
going
to.
Bruce Campbell, baby.
You can't have another John Hughes.
No, you can't.
Or Ivan Reitman.
Too much of a gamble.
You can't have another Ivan Reitman. Yeah, although his son did a real good job with these Ghostbuster movies.
I was about to say.
I
loved them both.
I don't know if you've seen.
I haven't seen Winter, but I saw
the first one.
Dakota. I think her name's Dakota Johnson. From the Madam Web.
Yeah, I was about to say Spider-Woman.
She said in an interview after the whole Madam Web thing, she's like, a lot of these studios, they're just afraid for artistic ideas, something outside the box. They want something from an established franchise. That's why. Well, Madam Web, I think, was just so they could hold on to the rights or something. Or they were just like, we want to create our Spider-Verse.
Like the Fantastic
Four
crap that they put out like 10 years ago. God, that was garbage.
But that was bad. That was a bad movie.
Movies like this, it's just in the movie industry. They're afraid to take chances anymore. They just don't.
I'm sorry, Michael B. Jordan. You made up for it later, though.
And if you've seen Madam Web, it's funny, but not in the right way. It's pretty terribly voice acted. The main bad guy, the not Spider-Man.
What? Who is it? Is it supposed to be Spider-Man 2099?
No.
It's not. It's not Miguel. Is it Miguel O'Hara?
No. Well, all I know is he's a bad guy.
Is he Mexican?
I think so. Or
South
American.
I think they're implying that he's supposed to be Spider-Man 2099. I haven't seen it. But I understand that he butchered his script so bad that they had to voice over it.
Well, see, I don't know if they changed the script or whatever they did, but yeah, they did a lot of. Just about every scene you see on that, you see him talking or whatever.
Hi, Mark.
And they try to do scenes where he's turning away from the camera, and you can tell he's saying something else completely different. Or even when he is talking, they're like not even in sync with his life. From what I hear, I can't remember who the actor was in that, but he was really pissed off that they did all that voice work and edit it like that. That movie is just poorly edited. Not only that, but you take someone like Sydney Sweeney. Man, I've never seen anybody try to cover up her best assets as much as they did in that Madam Web movies.
Fun fact.
Fun bags? What?
Yeah, the fun bags. But the fun fact is that there was a dude that was arrested in that movie theater.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he was doing while watching Madam Web because of Sydney Sweeney.
I'm sorry, we'll call it a Paul Rubin.
I saw the.
He's doing a Paul Rubin special.
I was sitting there. I'm like, damn.
He would.
That girl is fine though. Damn.
He would have had. He probably would have had better material if he would have watched the red carpet screenings of that than actually watching what they gave him in Madam Web. Because on the red carpet, man, Sydney Sweeney, Dakota Johnson, man. They were looking good.
Well, you know what they say, after midnight, let it all hang out.
I mean, you got to make money somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere, somehow. But in case you guys didn't notice, we jump subjects a lot. So if you came in here expecting just the next review.
I will put it in the description.
Yeah.
I will put it in the description.
We go everywhere.
But.
Just a friendly conversation. For now. Later, who knows?
Who
knows? Maybe I'll be able to edit this into a coherent order.
So what? Go back to X-Men.
To get back to X-Men. So who here was expecting Charles and Max to kiss? I mean, that last episode.
Oh, Charles, yeah.
There was so much close talking where we're in a bar, and I mean, let's face it, the gay innuendos were all there.
They're there on purpose.
He's like,
what if you're different?
Caressing.
They're
his
there.
face.
They're there on purpose, though.
And that was one of the
'Cause of
micro
the-
expressions that I was
'cause of
talking
the
about
jokes.
earlier. Because when Charles was like, "Well, have you ever met one?" No, and Magneto just kind of looks down like, "Oh, but I wish I could."
I tell you,
And now, don't get me wrong. I thought it was a classy way of like drawing the parallel of like coming out. I mean, there was all that awkwardness, and I like the fact that it wasn't like, "Hey, I'm gay. This is me coming out," because that's one aspect of cartoons that I miss. Not even cartoons, just like shows where, like, Star Trek. A lot of these shows like actually covered real day events without actually saying, "Hey, this is XYZ." And so racism with like Xmen.
with good writing, basically, not just forcing it
Yeah,
into a
you didn't have to be
series.
like, "Hi, I'm the token black guy, and I'm going to overcome some," it wasn't
Racial
announced.
injustice,
Yeah, it was like, so, because I remember when I grew up as a kid, like, it was a lot of like, "Oh, I get this. So the X-Men are like, minorities, they're you shouldn't be doing, judging
Yeah.
them, and
That's what they are.
Yeah.
right, but I mean, it's without saying like, "Hey, I'm Asian. Hi, I'm Russian. Hi, I'm black." It was one of those things that the writing guides you to that aha moment where it's just like, "Oh, I get this. Okay, I understand what they're doing. Oh, I should be this way." And they're right. It's almost like, here's your lesson for the episode. So I did like the fact that they almost used like them being mutants as like, "Hey, I'm gay. Do you know any gay people?" "No, they don't exist." Oh. Like, Magnus looks down and then, "I manipulate metal." And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, it was like coming out, but like not coming out. But it was a different,
It was a different
as a
kind
mutant
of,
instead of like,
yeah.
Gay or
You can make the parallel to like how you can relate it to real life events. About,
right. It was a real
I do
life,
something that's
something
not
that-
accepted, but
and that's relatable today. I mean, you can, it's all over the media. Clearly,
Yeah, I mean,
orientation or
and that's got to be tough
belief
for a
is-
kid to
yeah.
have to do. To be,
That can transcend any generation. Being that awkward person, no matter what the awkwardness is, it's always a thing. And then to have it, phrased that way, although it was, like I said, very like they were talking very close for that entire episode. Charles. Magnus.
it's like the.
Or, I'm sorry, he's hired. Magnus.
It's like they have the same dynamic as like Batman and the Joker.
Yeah.
In that, like,
They respect,
some
they
point-
love each other, but
at some point they might as well be in love with each other.
yeah.
I was like, come on, guys, let's just throw down the cowl.
Yeah,
So, okay.
especially because the Joker don't care what he
Did
sleeps
you
with.
guys have any problems with what Xavier was doing to Magneto there at the very end?
Hell no, not to save the Earth.
No, but I mean, after he broke, like, because
After he broke his mind.
you've read the comics.
Yeah,
So you know what's coming up
I know
next,
what's coming
right?
up next. Yeah.
Okay.
As far as they go, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well-
So, did you want to explain?
When
Well, we already said spoilers. Okay.
Yeah, we're spoilers.
All right, so there's a character that's coming.
maybe
That Xavier, probably. Come on.
no,
Did you
because
see his mind
no,
beam
but-
But you're
into-
talking about the
No.
time jump might have messed that up.
no, but because when he does that,
Well, when-
he leaves
when-
he leaves Magneto in a
Well,
coma,
Oh, yeah, but
and Magneto's mind's actually inside Charles's, which is what makes
But this isn't when
that
Magneto was
character-
supposed to rip out the adamantium either.
yeah. Well,
So but they take liberty.
I have to admit that so in that episode, the two things that caught me was like, first, Wolverine actually stabs Magneto, which I get it. I understand the thought there is like, can't Magneto like feel magnetism or anything like
Well,
around
which was
him?
as stupid as like, hey, we're going to the sardine can. You can't really move much. Who should we send? Hey, Tin Man, come here.
I know
Let's
that-
go against the master of
they-
magnetism, and he'll never even sense you coming because he'll be too distracted with talking with
I
Charles.
get it. You had two teams. You could have broken up, and obviously
Well,
you could have set
I
Wolverine.
mean, he did
on
stab
the-
him. He just should have kept stabbing him. That was
Yeah,
the
he
thing.
should have just gone up.
Yeah. That's the whole aim for the next time.
Well,
Aim for the head.
But at the same time, he kills him though, and they can't save the world either way because they can't start the Earth again, right? I mean, I guess unless Xavier
Oh,
can
I
like, manipulate his dead body.
guess that's true.
Yeah.
Like he can't.
Well, maybe
He has
maybe
to-
he's
he
like
has-
a ventriloquist. He's just
Yes, yes.
Professor X shove his fist up his ass and is like, I'm Magneto. I can do magnetism.
No, but that's-
now."
that's true.
Okay, so let's go over this.
Okay, so
So Magneto's arc through this series is everybody
Dead.
thinks Xavier's dead. So Magneto, of all people, is chosen to take over the X-Men, which everybody's like, what the fuck is going on? Storm takes a bullet for Magneto, so he keeps his his magical powers or his mutant powers. And then as the series goes on,
okay, sorry, you
Genosha.
mentioned Rogue, so did you guys think this? Because when I saw
What?
Xavier in the air with Magneto spinning around, the only thing that was running through my head was, oh, this is when they kiss. Because that's the same thing that happened with Magneto and Rogue when they're in the ballroom. They're dancing in the air, spinning around. I was like, kiss, 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 kiss. It's like, here it comes. Here it comes. Pucker up. Okay, sorry.
But no, Magneto goes to Genosha, and because it's supposed to be its own little sovereign nation now of its
Yeah.
own, and then all of a sudden that's where the major events of this series
Yeah,
or this
that's-
season take off. That's where there's a massacre at Genosha.
Like-
Giant Ultimate Sentinel and killed. And at the time, it looks like Magneto and Gambit die because at this point, Magneto's leading the X-Men.
Dude, that was an amazing death.
That was a great death.
oh.
Gambit fucking.
My boy.
Gave me chills
Supercharging.
watching
Oh.
it, man. But
Remember it.
I
was like,
teared up, and the kids look over at me. Are you tearing up over this?
Oh,
oh,
dude,
like,
it was.
Fuck you,
Dylan
kids.
and I looked at each other with faces filled with tears. We're just like, remember it.
Yeah, I was gonna say as far as badass
Hell, I'm
moments.
getting chills now thinking
So-
about it.
Badass moment
so-
slash death, because first of all, Magneto is sitting there and he's holding the spear as hard as long as he can to try to save everyone. And at one point, he realizes they're not going to do it, and he looks at this poor mutant and he's
Oh, that was
like,
devastating.
Yeah, he looks at-
we are going to die.
he
Is
looks-
basically when he looks at him, he's like,
Yeah,
don't be afraid. Wasn't that what he said or something?
Yeah,
like that?
he looked like right at Leech.
Oh, poor Leech.
Poor little boy Leech.
and it's just seeing Gambit,
Sucks to be Leech.
It does.
seeing Gambit there to just fucking grab the Sentinel, get up there, and it thinks it's gonna kill him, and you just see him grab the metal and then supercharge it, and he's like, "What is he? The name is Gambit.
My name is Gambit.
Remember it."
Remember it.
And then, boom, and he like blows everything up, and I was like, "Oh."
and now
my
he's
God.
going to be the Horseman of Death.
Is
Yes. That's
that what it-
that,
is that
yeah,
what it
that's
leads
what
to?
That's why Apocalypse has
is
the card
Okay.
of Queen of Hearts.
Okay, because
Because
my thought because
Gambit
the
did die.
The way they did it in the episode was Cable was like, I kept trying to change that day. I couldn't change it. There's some time events that I cannot change.
Probably because there's a lot of things that spawn from that event that has to take place in order for the
Oh,
future
but
to-
that goes back to that whole thing like with
Well, with Cable,
with-
he couldn't 200
no,
times.
No,
and he
but this
couldn't-
that goes back to Loki, and how
Oh, yeah,
Loki.
There's certain
There's
events or
events.
Doctor Who. Although I know I'm speaking with people who haven't watched Doctor Who. I'll say that. I don't know. Some might say hate,
But
It's hate, but
but there's certain events in time that you cannot mess with.
yeah, they're like
because-
cornerstone
yeah,
events
they're
or something.
cornerstone events.
yeah, because when I saw that, and because my first thought, because as the season played along, I was like, all right, eventually they'll be able to go back and change that. And then Cable shows up one more time, and he's like, I keep going back to that. I can't change it. I tried 200 times. I couldn't change it. I was like, oh shit, Gambit's
He's
dead.
actually dead.
I was
Come
like,
on, it's a comics.
I was like,
No one's dead.
Yeah.
Well, that was my thought. I was like, shit. So they killed Gambit off, and then, but now that you guys mentioned Apocalypse, so the whole ending of the series, but that has to be the greatest death
Yeah,
I've ever seen.
you kind of think you're gonna see where Wolverine and Storm and Rogue wound up. Instead, you get Apocalypse with
the card.
Gambit's card, and you're like, oh,
Here
Here
comes
comes-
the horseman.
Oh,
Here
I
comes
didn't
the
even
Horseman's
catch that.
death.
He had the Gambit's card, the Queen
Yeah,
Heart?
yeah.
He
Oh, I didn't even catch
He
that.
reaches into a pile of ash, and then he kind of starts sifting through, and
And
then
he
the
goes-
Queen of Heart kind of
And he
goes
goes-
through the ash.
and he goes,
it's-
my poor children.
Yeah, my poor children, children of the atom.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Okay.
But anyway, my first initial point was so Charles uses Magneto to, reverse what he has done, which leads into a great series of events and a lot of like deep thought type experiments. Anywho, but my qualm was that Charles broke him, his psyche was gone. Now, was Charles actually reconstructing Magneto, or was he actually reshaping him so he's someone he can control? Because he's in there.
It's a little of both.
Yeah, and I get it because like in the movies where when he first meets Jean, he puts up a bunch of mental blocks so that way she doesn't accidentally kill the entire planet, which I get. That's understandable. But at the same token, it's like, I mean, I know it doesn't seem like 90s. That seems more like Patrick Stewart.
I think he did the same thing
comic book Xavier, but not the cartoon Xavier. Because I think he only does that in the movies.
No, he does it in the comic.
Well, I know he does it in the comic, but I'm saying not in the cartoon. I don't think he does it in the cartoon. Which it seemed really shady because he's basically like, hey, I know I done messed you up. Don't worry, I'll fix you. But I'm going to take some liberties, play God, and build you the way I want to build you. You're going to have to remember your stuff, but how I make you remember.
I mean, honestly, the newest run in the comic books, they're kind of doing that.
No, I get it, but comics
with the way that they kill off certain characters.
Yeah.
And then they can resurrect them. They have these resurrection protocols that, like, humans don't know about.
That's crazy.
And because certain characters have the ability, when they combine their powers, oh, guess what? We can fucking bring you back to life.
With our powers combined.
Captain. Yeah, exactly. And with Mr. Sinister, who's got all this DNA compile.
For those of you who don't read comics or aren't in the know, something big is coming because when Magneto rips out Wolverine's adamantium and the animation, because it's the exact same cover art when they introduce Charles, Onslaught. When they introduce Onslaught.
Is that from Charles'
they made
thing?
Yeah, that's Charles and Magneto's mind melded together.
So there's something coming, and then they did the cover when Onslaught is introduced in that shot when he takes over Magneto's mind.
So if you want to look up Onslaught, you'll
look up
get
Onslaught.
a ton of spoilers, so just be warned.
And that's why I was scared about Nightcrawler, because Bastion technically kills Nightcrawler. And when I watched Endgame, because we were talking about Headshot, the entire time I saw the first Endgame, Captain America goes up against Thanos. And I know for a fact, during Civil War, Cap dies.
Yes.
So the entire fight with Thanos, I was like, no, not here. And then he gets punched, and I was like, oh, is this it? Is this how they're going to make Captain America?
Is this how it happens?
And then he stands up, and I'm like, okay, good. And then he doesn't die, and I was like, hell yeah, that's cool.
Me personally, my favorite moment was him getting Thor's hammer.
Mjolnir.
We don't believe in what was it? We don't believe in vowels.
We don't believe in vowels. But so during the Nightcrawler fight with Bastion, my entire time was like,
oh, you thought he was gonna do one of those things
where he teleports into his arms and bah!
Yeah.
And I was like, careful. No.
He did get bitch slapped by him. It was like he teleported once. He was like,
yeah, he
did.
He didn't wind up Will.i.am.
That rogue punch, dude, that was amazing. The animation and everything.
Where she's flying through
and you just see the face crumple and.
Yeah, where she's flying through the asteroid M and just beating the fuck out of him the whole way.
Like when she first does the line, his name was Gambit. And like she's like flying, and like the tears are kind of coming out, and then boom, remember it. I was like, yes.
No, there were several like really well animated fight scenes throughout this series.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I can't say more than that. That there were just scenes like that got to me. Like I said, the most shocking ones towards the penultimate episode, the second to last, was the Wolverine stabbing Magneto, and Magneto was like, let's settle this, and he rips the adamantium from Wolverine's bones, and it was like, holy shit, I cannot believe they just did that.
He meant to kill me, Charles. It's like, no, we needed you alive.
Okay, so
still the only way we could weaken you is stabbing you through the chest.
Still being the pessimist here, though. My only other qualm is also how stupid is the U.S.? The Magneto Protocol?
Oh, what the hell was that? We're going to blow up the asteroid so it comes crashing down on Earth.
But that was the thing. Like, none of the X-Men actually, like, tried to stop any of those missiles, right?
No.
So all they did was blow a big
I mean,
fucking meteor
last I saw,
out of the sky and let it fall to Earth.
Gene
To
has
hit for
this.
the ultimate destruction.
Yeah.
Gene has this weird
On
thing
the
called
second ice age.
telekinesis where, I don't know, we've seen her use it before, stop the missiles, but no, she's like, huh. But maybe she was weakened from doing the little touching scene with Cable,
Yeah.
I guess. But I was like, what the hell is the U.S. thinking? They're like, okay, so here's the Magneto Protocol. We hit them with missiles. Really? You needed a whole file on that? And then not only that, but what happened? And the thing that pissed me off was that was it Trask, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Trask is there. We got the Magneto Protocol. And who is right next to him?
Captain America.
Oh, I don't know. The smartest person on the face of the freaking earth? Iron Man? Who
Yeah.
might know a thing or two about physics, maybe even astrophysics, knowing that if a large body in the semi-orbital range of the earth slams into it, probably what we would call a civilization killer. I mean, that's what happened with the dinosaurs.
Yeah, or
And he's just sitting there like, yeah, let's do it.
or even like it, or even let's say it just falls into like the ocean.
Yeah.
What do you think
it-
that's gonna do?
Well, and that's a crap thing. Something that size. So,
But I expect that from Tony Stark because he's kind of an idiot.
well,
Not Robert Downey Jr. Tony Stark. I meant comic book.
but something that size strikes the Earth. It changes your climate. It basically creates a dust cloud that covers the sun up.
No, it's an extinction.
Everything dies. It's an
an
extinction
extinction
level
level
event,
event.
which is why they probably called it E-Day. What was it, like 8 months after E-Day? But it's something that the U.S. created. I'm like, are you guys stupid? Disney did a whole movie on it. It's called what was the one
Day After Tomorrow? No.
with Quicksilver, where
Oh yeah, the second Avengers movie.
yeah, the Avengers
Yeah.
one with Iron Man's bastard child. What's his name?
Not David Spader. James Spader.
Ultron.
James Spader.
James
Ultron.
Spader, Ultron.
Ultron's
Yes.
plan was, well, we're going to take this big old chunk, we're going to bring it up to the elevation, and then we're going to drop it down and destroy the whole Earth. But hey, we didn't learn from that because,
Out of all the voices to voice Ultron,
dude, James Spader, I
James
don't
Spader.
care. When he
Like,
sings that Pinocchio song,
was-
that couldn't sleep for a month.
it was so creepy. Like,
There are no strings for me. I was like, Jesus Christ, you need to stop that. Pinocchio has that scary scene with the donkeys. I don't need that. That freaking James Spader singing.
Yeah,
No strings
I
for
would
me.
rather see the Dumbo acid trip, than that, or well, I'm sorry, drunk as they call it.
Yeah, well, with the pink
That looked like
elephants.
an acid trip. Though.
Pink elephants.
it was an acid trip.
That beer was laced with PCP or
Had to have been.
angel dust.
We didn't have any Bill Cosby specials in there.
So, new character, Sunspot, and of course, he gets a new relationship with Jubilee. Now, I don't know Sunspot, never seen it. Is that an actual character?
Yes.
Or was that something created?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And apparently he has the ability to give oxygen in a vacuum because you're in space and you're like, hey, Jubilee, breathe.
Yeah, he just kind of caught her in space. I saw
there,
that.
There are suspension of
I saw that and I was
disbelief,
like-
blood
that
will
was-
boil and all that.
That was
you
my
know.
problem. I was like, I had to suspend so much disbelief in this final episode. Like, there was a moment where I was like, oh, wait, Jean can all of a sudden control Phoenix? I'm like, Phoenix shows up out of nowhere and
she can
control Phoenix, no problem.
Not that
She
I'd
can-
seen.
And then
Yeah,
after,
not that
not,
you've seen.
not from what they showed in the cartoon, at least.
yeah.
Yeah.
As far as cartoon lore, now I'm not talking about comic books.
No.
I'm talking about cartoon lore. That's why she had to fly into the freaking sun. Was because she was like, no, this thing is just I can't control it. I have to get rid of it. And now all of a sudden it's like for like a pivotal 10 seconds I can control it. And then my Ex Machina power is now done.
Yeah, well, I mean, she should have tried to keep
alright.
she should have tried to keep controlling it for at least another fucking 15 to maybe dismantle that motherfucker. I don't know.
Oh, and then
Jesus
did Bastion
Christ.
take the cube with him when he ripped off Cable's arm? Because when he's fighting Rogue, he does that teleportation thing and then pops up right behind her. The only thing I can think of, because he absorbed the tech from Cable. The
his
cube that
cube.
allows him to jump through time and teleport,
Yeah.
like on the temporal page.
Oh, so he's probably not dead then.
I don't think so. Like, that's why he was reaching. He was like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, I got this. Boom. I can go to anywhere I want. So that was my, I was like, okay, like I said, there was a lot of disbelief. So he can do that, but he can't like teleport from I don't know, Earth to asteroid M.
Yeah.
No, he had to fly.
And fly. Yeah. Well, just like Nightcrawler,
Well, I don't
all
think-
of a sudden can think of a place and we can teleport there.
No, he has to be able to see it.
Well, not
Yeah.
according to this one.
So the only episode that
Oh, but he knows the layout of the house. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, maybe.
He-
Maybe.
he knows-
But I always thought it was sight to teleportation. I
No,
thought,
he knows.
thought he needed line of sight.
He has to know where he's going. If he knows where he's going, he can go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that solves that one.
yeah,
Like I
but
said,
if he doesn't
this-
know where he's at, and he
This
just
episode had
Yeah.
I liked it, but there was a lot of like I literally Dylan was just like, yeah, I get it. Like there was a lot of like, what now? Okay. Suspend disbelief.
I went into it with a lot more disbelief, so I wasn't disappointed as much as he was on some of these issues, because I went into it and I was like, yeah, let's go.
well,
let's
no,
see it.
no. The only part that got me was like, wait, your plan is to blow up an asteroid that is in
I have to
subspace
admit, that,
and let
yeah.
it fall to Earth? Do you not think that's a bad idea? Like that's literally the worst idea you could ever have.
Yeah. No. Well, and not only that, but how-
It reminded me of like
what is
Well, these were the 90s,
It-
so science wasn't as advanced
no,
as
no,
it
but
is
it,
today in
it
modern
reminded me of I
times.
can't remember.
well, and what is this Magneto protocol? They're like, okay, here's
If,
this
if
here's the
Magneto's
secret
over
file.
here, we're gonna destroy the world.
So
Yeah.
what we're gonna do, in case Magneto is on asteroid M, because what if they tried doing that like when he's not on
Well,
asteroid
I
M?
mean, are these
Is it the
special-
same plan? Oh, he's in Africa. Let's look at the Magneto
Magneto.
protocol. It says, oh, we're gonna launch a bunch of nukes at him. Okay,
But
well,
they're-
sucks for
they
Africa.
weren't even nukes because nukes would have at least blown that shit up a little
And then
better.
somehow they had like things that were able to travel into outer space, not made of metal.
Porcelain. Porcelain is very durable.
Oh yeah, from what I hear, it does great under heat and high
well,
velocity.
I mean, you would know. You're the plumber, Eric.
It doesn't.
No, that stuff would shatter. Not
It
only
would
that,
shatter.
but given the friction that the atmosphere would create, it would get it so hot,
Oh.
it would probably just turn into mush.
Dude, those Pete Holmes things. I always think of Wolverine. He was like, "Your motorcycle. What's it made of? Tubes and." Well, I can really feel you like you're thinking here.
Maybe metal. Yeah, and you know that was all like deep down inside, that was all Scott Summers just trying to get rid of Wolverine because, you know, Wolverine. You can go fight the robots, or you can go fight the guy that manipulates metal.
Who could basically make you his bitch.
Yeah.
Up
So
there.
you can go over here and like just wreak all sorts of havoc.
Or you could come to the guy who's got the one
I-
counter to
I
your
was
counter.
just wanting to hear the X-Men game thing of "gonna bleed you." That's all I wanted to hear from Wolverine. I didn't hear it though.
All right. well,
Berserker Barrage!
so what's your take on the morph? I love you.
Oh.
I've read all the things, and the director said what he said. He
So my
intended
take
to.
is this, and
Give him hope.
you guys can like disagree with me, and I'm talking about everybody out there. The guys in here, I don't know. This is their first time hearing me say this. So my take is this. I understand why he turned into Jean Grey, but clearly Morph is kind of saying more like, "Hey, brah, I love you," because it's kind of hinted that he kind of has a thing for Wolverine throughout the entire series.
Yeah.
I would have respected it more if it was Morph that was just like, "Hey, man, I just want to let you know, man, I love you. Like, take the chance." Be him saying "I love you." I would have respected that decision more than to be like, "I'm gonna chicken out and be like, I love you," but as the guise of Jean Grey. It's like one of those awkward teen movies where you see the nerd that's like, "Yeah, I love you too."
I'm not gonna
But-
lie. If I were Wolverine, I'd
That's-
say yes. I'm like, tonight, do you think you can go more of
Well,
a Julius
hey,
Sweeney kind of role? Okay, all right, we'll go there.
Well, think about
We'll go Jean Grey tonight.
well, think
we'll
about
go Jean Grey.
think about
I've always wanted Jean. Can we do a Jean again?
well, think about
A Mystique.
Mystique in Destiny. How does that work?
Oh, I don't. I'm
Because-
not even. I'm not.
Because
gonna touch
you
that
know
one.
how that, and they did have a kid, so
I am not.
I'm just
touching
saying.
That one, that one is so.
Wait, is that
just-
the newer one where
Yeah, the one that retconned.
Where it looks like-
Nightcrawler.
it looks like-
or
Mystique and somebody else gave birth to the child, right?
not Mystique.
but her partner or whatever.
No, Mystique gave birth to the child.
Well, they
But
retconned.
because
They
Mystique-
retconned it where
Mystique was
Mystique
the
is
father.
now Nightcrawler's father, not mother.
Did they? Oh.
Yes.
Just recently.
That's why I was like, I'm not.
I've been
I
keeping
need-
up with some pop culture news.
I need to read this now.
Yeah, no, I'm not touching that one.
No, because his dad has been Azazel
Nope,
for
not
like
anymore.
a decade now.
Retconned.
How did they retcon that? Azazel's a demon who looks
Okay.
exactly like.
God dang it, go for it, Chris. You can go.
Let me see if I
Who
can
looks
look this
exactly
up.
like-
So okay, so what it is that
I mean, I haven't read in the past 6 months. Azazel.
I might be getting this wrong. Azazel is there, but the thing is that Mystique came to the mother as a man and got busy. You know how plumbing works, and I think it was Mystique. No, it was. I don't know. I'm gonna have to have Chris look it up. All I know is that like the guy gets killed, who was supposed to be the husband, but he wasn't. Well, I mean, he was technically the husband, but it was basically a torrid affair between two people, and one of them happened to
This
take
is-
the form
I
of a
don't
man,
think this one shows the actual
just
birth,
like Brave Star.
but these are now the parents of this character, Mystique.
Right now, we're jumping on
This
Google.
this
to,
was just this last year that I
Yeah.
saw.
Yeah, a
that
couple
they
months ago.
retconned this here. So the X-Men's Mystique
confirmed as the father in a new gender swap.
Wow.
That's newer.
Bottom
That's
shelf.
newer.
There's no more outside. But so, I don't know. I just, I think it would have been better and more brave. I guess, it's like I said, it just reminded me of that kind of that nerdy guy. This, I love you. Just kidding. No, you were hurt, and that's what I think you wanted to hear. But no, of course I don't love you.
And so with Morph, honestly, and then that could have been more interesting, because right now Morph is just kind of like a blank split. I think they say Changeling is the kind of like the form he's taking right now, where he's neither male or female. He's just kind of like a blank slate.
Well, which is weird because I get Morph's power, but it seems weird that like he inherits. I mean, I guess like Eric was saying, Morph was based off another character, and I believe that was the other character's power also.
Possibly.
But it seems weird that it's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be Superman now, and I have absolutely every single one of his powers. It seems like a hard mutation to sell.
Yeah, I can do the power of any X-Men. Basically, is Morph's power, which
And if that's the case, why not always just change into the person you're fighting? Hey, I'm fighting Magneto. You know what?
or
Guess who I am now.
Even better, find out whoever their ultimate weakness
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Like if like you're fighting Wolverine, guess what? Now I'm Magneto.
So I want. Do you know if Morph's abilities are limited, Eric, to where he can't
mimic their powers also.
like say necessarily like maybe he can do Colossus's
I
super
don't-
strength or the Hulk super
I
strength.
don't know because you can't.
Well, in the cartoon, it seems like he can because when they were fighting the Sentinels or whatever, he was able to mimic not just what they look like, but their powers also.
Well, see, I get he can do Colossus's metal, so, maybe like the physical strength, but
Well,
something like a Charles Xavier or a Jean Grey's mental ability.
Yeah.
Well, it's only because like
can he
Mr.
not do
he
those?
has a Mr. Fantastic on the last scene where they're all about to get sucked out into space, and he's all super stretchy, just like Mr. Fantastic.
Well, those all seem like physical powers to me. Those don't feel like mental. So I don't know if something like a plasma blast or
Would be viable.
or maybe that's also a physical. I don't know, but I
Guess I'm gonna have
haven't
to watch it again to find out.
Well, he
Because
changes.
it seems like he does do something.
He
where,
changes
like,
it, but he does change into Psylocke. I think in the first episode.
But did he do Psylocke's thing or did he hit him with a sword?
I see. I can't
See,
remember.
yeah,
I
that's
can't
what I was
remember
like.
that part.
I'd
'Cause
have
if
to
he
look
hits-
it up.
If he hits him with Psylocke's like mind,
Blast or whatever.
mind blast sword thing, then that's like he's basically using her powers. He can basically use her powers.
Okay, so because at this point, then wouldn't Morph be almost like the ultimate?
The ultimate freaking mutant.
He
Period.
can do any. I mean,
because Mystique just mimics what
Their
you look
look
like.
like. Yeah. Morph seems to be able to completely change his body to match the person he's mimicking.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that is crazy.
Because then he can become an Omega level.
Yeah, at any
Mutant.
time.
So-
At any time.
And then he is an Omega level mutant.
He would.
Think about
if
it.
he
Yeah,
could,
because
if
he could turn into
power,
what? Magneto. Now, some people were like, I saw this online. I don't know if it's true or not, but they were saying Gambit was not an Omega level thing.
No.
He's not? Okay.
No, I can't remember what the actual classification is, but Omega just means that like
They can end the world,
You can end
right?
the world. Yeah, like Magneto's an
But-
Omega
But
level.
I thought if like he could charge the Earth long enough, he could blow up the Earth, or is it only limited to something?
Well,
certain
so
amount of mass?
possibly, I guess, but I think what they're saying is basically, like, he would have to sit there for a very long time because
To
you see,
supercharge the world.
yeah, it was just like he would have to like find like the hole that Bin Laden was in and just be like, almost done, Sherry. And like after I don't know 12 years, maybe he'd be like, remember me.
I have to admit, like, what was it, the first, second episode when you see them all like playing basketball or whatever?
Yeah, the first
They definitely dressed them up in like 90s attire.
Oh my God,
it had a very 90s
Well,
feel.
well, which was funny because it was almost like just
What?
ironic because it was like the gayest stuff that you could possibly think of. However, very period accurate for the 90s.
Yeah, like the whole mid.
Maybe 80s. I would say more like
Gambit
late
in his
80s.
outfit. He's looked like
Gambit's midriff fucking shirt.
look at like a gay 80 star, but you know.
Yeah, but that's the same thing that.
But that's the 90s.
that's the same.
But that was the 90s.
That was the same thing that Wesley Snipes wore in White Men Can't Jump.
Yeah, no, yeah. It was totally
True.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
So like people, I saw it too. People were complaining about that, and I'm like,
Well, that's what I was saying. It was like, yeah, it was
I'm like,
super
look,
gay.
you
but
made
Oh,
here
fucking-
you'd act-
fucking-
that was
fucking-
the 90s.
I mean,
fucking
dude,
woke-
we grew up in an
woke
era
Marvel.
where we're like, boy, George, man, he must be raking in the girls, and then you're like,
George
oh, wait,
Michael.
he's gay.
Yeah.
He's gay. Huh? Do you really want to hurt? And it's like, oh,
So-
oh yeah,
I-
it makes
I
sense
know-
now, huh?
yeah.
I don't know if you're a fan, but
Or
you always
Poison.
tell me she is more powerful than they ever make her like she is in the comics. But Jubilee,
Oh, the fire maker.
because Jubilee has always been like the most useless character.
Dude, how did she blast his face off
She's
with her fire?
Eric tells me
Was she,
her
like, throwing
pyrotechnics
mortars?
can be like plasma or something, right?
they're like they're plasma. They're
Okay.
not. So like in the comics, she could actually like, if she wants to, go nuclear.
She could.
Yeah.
So that makes her like a perfect match for Sunspot because it's like fire and fire.
Because
Yeah.
most of this story, it really connects well all the way through. But there's one episode, and it's not even a full episode, it's just half of an episode, where it kind of takes this one little side trip. And I guess it's just to build up Sunspot and Jubilee, where she goes into that game world, and is it Mojo?
Mojo.
Or Mojo, that's
Into
what
the
his name
Mojo
was.
verse.
Yeah, dude, man, that relationship is such a sham. Sorry to be the naysayer again. Your mom's a bitch. We should get out of here. Let's go spend your money. I'm like, yeah, that's total things
That's
like
women.
girls. Yeah, that's girls that like are totally interested.
No,
in you
but
should
she's
be saying.
she's technically a rich kid to begin with.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, really?
To say
Yeah.
that out in the open and be like, hey, you know what? You're a trust fund baby. Let's go to the mall. Let's go spend all your money. I'm like, really? You're pissed? And I get it. Maybe
But-
that's today's kids where it's like, this trouble's kind of hard. You know what? Let's run away and let's go spend a shit ton of money.
But see, in that episode where she gets trapped in the video game, she sees like the reproduction of herself or whatever, and not only that, that person
the
can do
evolution of ultimate.
way more than Jubilee can do. She's like, oh, I'll be able to do that. So I thought after that, I was like, okay, so maybe we're going to see more of this stuff incorporate, and they're going to show. Because I know you always tell me Jubilee can do way more in the comics than what they show in the animated
Yeah.
series. And then when I see the animated series, she's still just like, hey, fireworks.
Well, I mean, especially
sparkly.
especially over like what, like she was created in like 89 or 90 or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been like
A long
30
time.
years. Like,
Been a while.
So yeah, I mean, her powers have grown
But this is 97, so it's only been like 8 years.
8 years. Yeah, she's still just like fucking doing little sparklers and shit.
Yeah,
So
because I was hoping to see, because even the little
Even the
video
creepy-
game one was kind of like, okay, those powers are
Even the
okay,
creepy
they're not
sound
great.
effects. Pew, 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 pew. It was like, really?
I get that sound. I don't have that effect, but I'll get it.
So, okay. So did Emma Frost never turn into Diamond before in the 90s? I thought
No.
she did.
No, that diamond skin thing didn't happen till like the.
So that was the movies then? Or
No, it was the 2000s.
Well, I mean, comic books and movies, they did that. But I mean...
The animated movies.
Yeah, in the
or something.
animated series. Well, no, in the actual, like...
Was she in
First
the
Class?
movies? Oh, I never
No,
seen
she
First
never
Class.
did that.
But she or maybe it was the Wolverine one.
No. She
assumed Liz.
she did it, but that wasn't her power
Yeah.
set.
So it was movies / comics, not the 90s.
Yeah,
Not- not- not
not the
the
90s.
series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only because like Beast was like the psychic trauma caused her to create her skin into a diamond heart. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, did they ever show that in the old 90s cartoon? I was like, I don't remember, but I was like, I'll ask the guys. Maybe
You
they'll
see
remember.
Beast giving his
Yeah.
girlfriend the cold shoulder in that show. He's like, oh, maybe it'd be better if I were dead. I don't know. He didn't say that.
I think it was funny
It was all
because
sass.
Yeah, he was
because-
like, I'm out of here.
apparently it would have been because guess what? She's a Sentinel.
Yeah, I know.
She
When I
was,
saw that,
she was a Sentinel Prime anyway, so it didn't even matter.
Yeah.
when I saw that, I was like, don't let her in the lab.
I was just like
He's like, tonight you can be the man.
I was just like, man, like that's gotta suck. I mean,
Finally, someone likes me for me.
My thought was
Yeah.
like, how poor.
and they were freaking.
I'm like, what a shitty network if they're like, oh, we got a breaking story, but we have to go to the person who's interviewing the X-Men. Where Scott Summers is like, maybe I should get out of here too. And he has
Oh my
a
God,
Huffy storm off.
And see, those were the early episodes, and those were the ones where I was like, oh my God, what am I walking into?
because Scott
Like I was hoping
No,
he would have at least
no.
a foot more of hair, so that way you could see
Hey,
the whip as he turns
because
around.
Scott Summers is a bitch.
Dude,
I don't know how to tell you this.
No.
He is Shinji Nakamura. All right. For those of you who don't know,
Gendo,
just look
Gendo,
up
Gendo. Oh.
Shinji.
Are you
Well,
talking
okay,
about
well, now-
Evangelion?
Yes,
Shinji?
Evangelion.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing, though. From what I understand, that they were trying to rebuild Cyclops into a likable character again, because when he first came in the '90s, everybody was like, "Okay, cool," but then eventually everybody was like, "Oh my God, what a little bitch!"
Like I said, I liked him in the series from what they showed him. He was more capable than I remember him being.
Well, I
at
liked
least
him at
from
the end, but
anime.
like you said at the beginning with that, "Oh, I'm leaving."
Yeah,
Oh.
I know they had moments, but like just falling like when
Oh,
the
the
very
falling through
very
the
very
sky?
part when they're going to wherever there was, I can't remember.
When they're dropping down.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Oh,
and
dude,
Scott
that scene
like
with
drops
his
down and he's like,
optic
all right,
glass.
X-Men go, and I see all the flying ones. You know, they save like Wolverine and what was it, Morph or whatever.
Yeah.
Or no, Morph transformed into something he could fly. I can't remember who the other one, but Jubilee maybe. And they go and they save that, and then Scott, I'm like, nobody's getting Scott, and then Scott just does that fucking laser blast
The
into the
optic
sand,
blast.
and he slows his fall down. I was like, oh, okay.
Dude, that scene after they have the talk
That was
with
cool-
Cable,
that was a cool
and
scene.
he's like still got the tears in his eyes, and
Yeah.
he throws off the visor, and he's like, "Ain't nothing to hold me back now.
Yeah.
Time to destroy as much as I can." That was awesome. He was like, "Ah," and just
That blast.
that blast. I mean, the voice acting way better than the '90s.
I've been
The
saying it.
emotion, you can
And you
feel
might
it
be
in that
right.
last
It
episode.
might be whoever actually directed them.
The actual director instead
Yeah.
of like the two psychiatrists
Because
that they had.
I've seen great voice actors give terrible performances.
Yeah, Monica Rial.
Like I just
Like
played.
in early anime. I mean,
I just played. What was it? Stellar Blade.
uh-huh.
There are actually some good voice actors. You know they have in that game, but only one of them was really good. The little tech assistant in that game. Everybody else comes off as real flat. And I even saw somebody like compare it to these AI voice chat things, and it's like, oh my god, they match almost the exact same tone as these chat AI ones. It's like, yes, we are here now, and we will do it. And I'm like, oh my god, it comes
Do
off
not
as the same
worry.
emotion. And only like one of the characters, who unfortunately is a side character, comes off with true emotion, and so it is nice when you get that that emotion. So to come through, it helps invest you in the story better when you can actually like the voice acting, and you don't have to like ignore it.
Well,
Yeah.
but the emotion was there. Like, I'm real, like, even with my music, I'm like, I would take some grungy dude screaming from the top of his lungs where you could feel that emotion than someone who, like, nailed it, note for note, got it.
I don't know though.
Perfect
but
pitch.
I was totally into Psycho Rogue.
Dude, well,
Yeah.
but like
Hey,
you said,
hey, I love
with-
Captain. I love Captain America. She was a dick to him. He was like, "Hey, yeah, you shouldn't do that. You know, fuck you and your shield."
Yeah, she threw
throws
that-
it halfway
she-
across the world.
She do that
she
shit.
might as well have yelled fetch after that. Fetch, bitch.
I'm like, how dare you do that to Captain
Okay,
America?
now
bro?
is there going to be a redemption arc for Rose? Because I mean, let's face it, people are dead. She like went
Yeah,
into military bases, and then I mean, I'm pretty sure
She
The
had
military's
to
like-
kill somebody.
I didn't see any like rogue protocol where they're like, all right, we're gonna get
Which is interesting because
a sharp knife.
she has Captain Marvel's powers.
Yeah.
So, Rogue. you
Although
guys-
she's comatose because of it.
and
But
I,
Yeah.
I know it
Oh,
is
well.
canon for the comics or whatever, but her and Magneto in a relationship, he's like one of the only people she can be in a relationship with where she can actually touch them.
Yes.
I always thought that was.
Not,
come on.
To me, it always felt
don't
weird,
touch
but
me,
you know,
baby.
probably because Magneto's so much older. You know, he's from like World War II days.
Well, then
you
how
know?
quickly she dismisses Gambit for someone who was like so emotional after
Well-
him dying. She was very quick to be like, "Hey there, old gray."
yes and no, but I'm not sure if they did this because I said after the first season, and I just stopped watching back when I was 13
in the '90s.
because I was like, "Fuck, this show sucks." and
Great theme song. Shitty fucking show.
shitty acting, shitty animation.
What are you talking about, Morph?
I just fuck. This is all I gotta do to be Wolverine. That's how Wolverine should sound. No, like he can sound like a normal person.
Well, you could be like the Australian from the first one.
I always.
Even that was better. Anyway.
Because there was times where before he would talk, he would be like, right. I was like, that's a bit
I always
much.
think of the picture and he's like, Gene.
Gene.
He's like, dude, that picture has been memed so many
Gene.
times. Laugh my ass off with a lot of them. I love it. Love it.
Like when Tim Duncan retired. There's a picture of him. And I'm like, yes, I feel the same way, Wolverine.
Oh, man.
Oh,
One of
God.
the greatest memes out there is that Wolverine stroking the picture.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
the funny thing is, because
but-
afterwards he like cuts out Scott and like breaks the fucking picture.
But where was it? What, Rogue, right? Or was that what we were talking about?
I think that was part of it. We're talking
Initially.
about Rogue and Magneto.
Okay.
They're
What's
bouncing
part-
around.
my favorite part-
Magneto is not actually in his 80s. And I don't, like I said, I don't know if they show it in the comic books or
I don't
in the
know.
cartoons.
I checked if you were a kid in World War II.
No. But like if
Like Captain America, he was frozen, and then
well, Magneto had a different thing happen to him when I think he got defeated. This one character named Eric the Red regressed him to childhood,
Well, that's nice.
Oh,
in
and
the
then he
night.
grew back.
And then he kind of grew back into like a 30-year-old man.
Yeah, but
So he's not technically.
Man, I don't know. The minute it painted Rogue in a bad light when
Well,
she was just like,
that was her own thing.
"Oh, hey Magneto, you're the
That was wrong.
leader now."
Hey,
But
you know
my-
what?
How's it going, Sherry?
Rogue wants to fuck, and she can't. I mean, but she can't him.
But my favorite part.
Come on.
Well, but I mean that was part of the dynamic between Rogue and Gambit. It was like even though they couldn't touch or whatever, they still loved.
Yeah.
It was all about the spiritual bond and how they loved
Well,
each
no,
other.
You know
like,
what?
we've
If-
already
if
got
it-
one
if it
love
makes you
triangle.
But
Why
I
do
get
we need
it.
another?
Let
If-
Rogue get hers. You
Yeah,
know?
if it makes you feel better nowadays,
Was that Disney thing?
in
They're like,
recent comics,
what's better than one love triangle?
let's give them two.
Two triangles.
Actually, no, but the other one barely existed.
Wolverine, Gene wasn't really a thing in this.
Well, because they had the clone, because they're like, well, now we got a square.
that was my thing.
And we
With
got
the
a
Madison-
triangle.
I think it was Madison
Well,
Pryor. Was that
yeah,
what it is?
Madeline Pryor.
Madeline Pryor. It was like, look, hey, just give Wolverine that one. It's like, yeah, there you go.
Oh, let's give it up for Moira, who showed up for like one episode to die. One of my favorite characters.
Moira McTaggart.
Yeah, I was
Really?
like, man, I was like, Moira, oh, sweet. Charles is kind of a little semi-crush before he went all Shi'ar. And then it was just like, gone.
Dead.
And there goes that.
It happened so fast I didn't even notice it, and I was
Sorry.
like, "What happened to this
No,
chick?"
but my favorite part, like I said, with Morph being the asshole that he is, that whole Magneto Gambit Rogue thing
Oh!
going on, and the Danger Room is like, what's this on the Danger Room? Oh, it looks like Magneto and Rogue have booked the Danger Room all week long or whatever. Gambit goes storming off and all pissed off, and Wolverine looks at him, and they both just start laughing. It's like, what a fucking dick, man.
Like that was
We know you're jealous.
that was
Like,
fucking.
like I said, Morph had it wasn't a ton, but he had a few moments like that. Where it was like, guy's an asshole, but I love that guy.
No, he did great.
I love
I
them.
really
I love
liked
them.
Morph on this reiteration, and the skin thing really didn't even bother me much. Like,
It's not an
yeah,
issue.
I mean, because it was
Not an
Morph.
issue.
He was changing into people all the time, so it was just like, man,
The skin thing.
whatever. Well, because now
Because
he
he
looks
went
more
with
like
that.
Mimic than he does.
He looks more like a mannequin than the original Morph that he used to be.
That's actually his form.
Yeah.
The other thing was,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, in the original series, when he was basic or not changing, he was.
Because 90s kids were too
He did
close-minded to understand
his original
what
look as morph.
Yeah, anamorphic blob. Than to be like, because he had that weird kind of awkward look.
yeah.
Sinister?
The other thing, yeah, Sinister, Mr. Sinister. Like, what did you guys think of his demise?
Well, he didn't
even,
really die.
Not even his demise. Like, his role in this whole situation.
I mean, he helped move the plot along. I liked him in that sense. He was there. He created some tension, especially when he's basically the reason Cable became Cable. Having
Yes, that is
Jean and
true.
Madeline Pryor's son.
Technovirus.
Yeah, sending him into the future so they could cure him. So I think he played a good asshole. A character you don't like. Move along to say it's like, yeah, I used the ultimate genes and all that.
I don't know. Like, Samuel L. Jackson comes into my mind. So, does he look like a bitch? Because he really didn't do anything in this one.
But that's kind of the thing. He doesn't really
I
ever really
think
do anything.
all he was set there.
He's just the talker, not the doer.
Yeah, he
but
just
for
kind of
me-
lets things
for
happen.
me-
He's the Wolverine jerking off in the corner.
Yeah.
He was the red herring, though, as far as what the true bad guy was in this.
Yeah, 'cause-
He was there to set you up to think, oh, this is Sinister's
Oh my
issue. This is
God.
Sinister with him, the gene thing, everything going on.
Yeah.
You're thinking, okay, so maybe this is a Sinister thing. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, who's this other player? And then it was that Bastion.
Do you guys watch with closed captions on?
No.
Don't ever watch anything with closed captions on because it ruins stuff. Because Bastion was supposed to be kind of like the secret, and there was a scene where they first introduce him, but it's just a voice. And I'm watching with closed captions because I had the old TV at the time, so I couldn't see quite everything as fine. So I would do like closed captions, so in case there was something I missed, which doesn't make sense because one's visual, one's not. But trust me, if you knew my situation, you know. Anywho, so I'm watching it with the closed captions.
He's
on.
retarded.
Yeah,
He's retarded.
I'm a little slow. I got dropped
okay.
on the
It's
head.
okay.
So, anyways, I'm watching with the closed captions on, and all of a sudden, instead of saying like voice, it says Bastion. I'm like, oh god damn it, God, oh, I know what's gonna happen here.
You wanted that one to be saved just a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, maybe not like like just be like mysterious voice or man in the background or no. Bastion. I was like, God dang it.
So if you're
And
dead,
then
you're out of luck.
that's why I
You're out
told
of luck.
you, because after that episode came out, the next day I saw you at work and I was like, hey man, I'm just saying, I know some stuff. Maybe don't get so attached with Nightcrawler in this series.
Yeah.
Because I straight up thought that they were going to kill him off. Because I was like, man, he's pretty prevalent. Because, I mean, he was, one episode in the 90s? And then this one, he's a really
I don't
good.
even remember.
And they added him to the intro and everything. They gave him his own little intro. Nightcrawler.
Like Eric, I don't think I ever finished the 90s version. But I got into this. And what was nice was if they brought a character in, and he was in the 90s, they actually recapped the 90s part of it too, and they would bring it, and they would let you know this is what they did in that.
So
they kind of caught you off.
T'Challa's
If you
dad's name?
Also, if I'm being very honest,
I
like
can't
in the '90s, I was more like fucking like, well, that's not how it happened. That person wasn't there in the comic. Why is this person here in this part of the story?
Eric's
How
in
dare you.
denial. He's only slightly less.
No, actually, I don't care anymore. I really don't. I just, give me a good story and that's it.
That's exactly all I care.
Exactly.
I think people get a little too nitpicky with, like you said, like how you were in the back, and it reminds me of that comic book dude on The Simpsons.
Like
I want
Wolverine.
Danny DeVito to play Wolverine. Because
Exactly.
He's 5'2".
And I still see those to this day. They have someone actually it's on my video
You go on
recommendations for YouTube right now.
You go on
It was like
any
yours,
comment
ours,
section,
and it's got Danny DeVito photoshopped in as Wolverine, and it looks horrible. I'm not
but
gonna
you
lie.
go on any comment section. That's their biggest goddamn. That and he's got to sound like this.
I think we can call it right here, gentlemen.
All right.
Well, I guess. All I gotta say is we're out of beer.
Yeah, 3 drunks and a tangent, What? That's what we like to do. You guys take it easy.
All right, later. This is Martin saying goodbye.
Eric.
And Chris, take care.